My name is Iannis Delatolas. I'm a supporter of Antifa, a member of AKNY, Greek Solidarity campaign. Movement, sorry. So before I introduce the speakers, I would like to say a few words about the importance of the picket we're holding on March 22nd at the Greek consulate in solidarity with the anti-fascist movement in Europe. If you haven't gotten the press release, there's copies of it here or in the chairs. Over the course of the last couple of years, starting with the entry of the fascist MPs of Golden Dawn in the Greek parliament, it has become apparent that fascism is not just a Greek problem. What we are seeing in Europe in the context of a protracted, unrelenting crisis and savage austerity is polarization in society in the south, but also in countries like France, where you wouldn't expect this to be the case. This polarization is very pronounced in Greece, where people are moving away from the bankrupt Social Democratic Party, PASOK, and the center-right and right parties, who are rightly seen as having implemented the EU and the European Central Bank austerity policies. And people are moving very fast, both to the left and to the right, as we have seen with the rise of Syriza, but also, unfortunately, with the rise of Golden Dawn, where they received about 400,000 votes in the last election. Now, I don't believe that all these people who voted for Golden Dawn are fascists, but and I think there's something here that we need to discuss about the responsibilities of the left. And we need to be clear that we are, in a way, competing with the fascists in the sense that we need to be able to explain the crisis as one that is endemic to the system of capitalism, one created by bankers, and at the same time fight to defend immigrants, Roma, LGBT people, people of Islamic faith, from the scapegoating that our far-right and fascist adversaries are using to mobilize electorally and on the streets in order to give legitimacy to the politics of racism and hate. They often will use a language that conceals their true nature, the fascists and the far-right. So they will say things like, we're here protecting the European identity, in quotes. What this kind of thing looks like on the ground is, for example, the National Front in France, last year when gay marriage was passed, was able to mobilize huge numbers of people, working with the Catholic Church, of course, as expected. A few weeks ago, somewhere around 10,000 people marched in Paris, and the chant was, Jew, Jew, France is not for you. So these European values, we know where they lead to. They lead to concentration camps, they lead to deportations of immigrants, etc., etc. So we must continue to expose the Nazis for what they are, and at the same time offer an anti-capitalist alternative, a socialist solution to the crisis. Ukraine is a dire warning for us. It's an example of what happens when the left is weak. A vacuum exists, and fascists are able to fill this. And a popular revolt ended up being hijacked by the Svoboda far-right, and something like 37 MPs ended up in parliament, this is a huge problem for us, I think, but also a learning lesson. Had there been a stronger left in the Ukraine, it could have had a better chance of fighting the fascists off of the protests, in theory anyway, and consequently keep them out of parliament. Now, on the level of politics, we as the left cannot be seen as trying to fix the European Union or to manage the capitalist crisis, because we will lose to the fascists as they present themselves as anti-systemic. And this is very important here, I think. Hopefully other people will pick this up. The fascists are not anti-systemic. They are the flip side of the system. The capitalist system will use them to crush the workers if it comes to that point, A case in point is the fact that Golden Dawn, after its leaders were jailed earlier in the fall and their criminal actions were revealed in the press, their support in the polls did not go down as one would expect, but in fact stayed the same, or maybe even has gone up a little bit. And this is the danger here. The savage austerity, especially in the European South, and the very high unemployment creates desperation and anger in the working class. And we need to channel that anger away from racism and turn it on the system that is responsible, capitalism. The words of Rosa Luxemburg, I believe, once again are very relevant for us. These are the stakes today. It is socialism or barbarism once again. I hope you will come and stand with us in solidarity with the growing anti-fascist movement on March 22nd. We can and we will defeat fascism.